Hello, and welcome to another edition of Brooklyn Versus. I'm your host for the evening, Chris Cross Lazaro. And boy, have we got a good show for you today. We're going to recap the NFL weekend, the fantasy football playoffs, and the theme of the show today will be your favorite holiday sporting event. So what is yours? Which sport does it the best? We'll be back in a few seconds to give you these gentlemen next to me and my own opinion on that as well. So stay tuned. And if you haven't already, please subscribe.
Go Bridgeside!
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Brooklyn Versus. Like I said, I am your host, Chris Cross Lazaro. And with me today is my main man over here, Chris, the closer, Ventura.
That's right. Was good.
And the hockey expert in all sports knowledge, great Stephen James. Stephen, say hello to our beautiful audience here.
Great. See, I need an impactful nickname like the closer.
I
Maybe
just
like
got
the
that.
sitter.
The sitter.
What is, real quick, what does the closer represent? What are you closing on?
Well, I got it from people that I work with at FNTSY Radio. Shout out to FNTSY Radio. My boy Corey, who's the host of my show, started calling me the closer because I was a closer in high school. He was a very in high school. I was the closer, so he called me the closer, and it just kind of stuck.
Very nice.
So I didn't give it to myself.
They call me the eater.
Well, folks, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it was a fantastic NFL weekend, as it always is, Week 16. We have 2 weeks left in the NFL season, and that includes, of course, the playoffs coming in a couple weeks.
It's coming, yeah.
And that means that the holidays are coming. The theme of the show today is the holidays, and we will not be with you for the next couple weeks. So what we're going to do for you today is we're going to come up with our own playoff projections here, and, we can, I'll actually hand the floor to you first, Chris. Feel free to go division by division. You could throw out some teams to talk about, but who do you think's going to the playoffs?
All right, so we got 2 weeks left, right? And right now, let's do the AFC for now. AFC, the picture is you got the Chiefs at the 1 seed, right? They're leading the AFC West. They still got the division locked down, even though they lost to the Chargers this past week. You got the number 2 seed, which is the Texans, who actually started off 0-4 and have won 10 straight to be 10-4. So this is a really hot team coming in. You got in the East, you have the Patriots, who are 9-5, and you got the North, which is right now the Steelers at 8-6-1. They're tie. So
Which has messed everything up.
yeah, messed everything up for all those.
Do you guys believe is that the Steelers are going to hold the division over the
I
Ravens?
do not. Do you?
Oh, really? I think they will.
You think they're gonna hold it down?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean they could. My thing with this is that I think that the Ravens are gonna end up taking that division. I think all the other divisions stay the same. Ravens take their division because the Ravens, they have one big match coming up. They're going to play the Chargers next, but they're playing at home, I believe. So I think they win that game. I think they beat the Chargers. They played the Chiefs tough. They almost beat the Chiefs in overtime. They lost 27-24, I believe, something like that, or 23, whatever. And I think that the Ravens are going to overtake and go 10-6. I think they're going to win the last 2 games because they have an easy matchup as well. Steelers haven't been as good. The Steelers have lost to Oakland recently. They barely beat New England at home recently, and they're horrible on the road.
They lost 3 straight, the Steelers, yeah.
Yeah, they lost 3 straight before beating the Patriots,
yesterday.
right.
But that was a gritty win against the Patriots, and you got to wonder with the Patriots, speaking to them, it's the first time Tom Brady is not going to have a bye week heading in since 2009.
If the Texans hold the 2nd seed.
How much does his age play into that? Does he need that extra week of rest?
He probably does. I mean,
Wait,
he is.
when was the last time he...
2009 was the last time he didn't have a bye week.
Jesus.
Heading into the playoffs. That's impressive.
Poor NFC East.
Poor 40-year-old man.
Well, poor NFC East. I mean, the Jets,
41.
the Bills, and the Dolphins have no chance ever.
No.
Never.
Don't give me poor AFC East because it's terrible AFC East.
Yeah.
The Patriots, I mean, they would probably win good divisions anyway, but those teams have all stunk constantly. So
they don't really give them enough competition to overtake it. And this year was the year to do it.
Tyrod Taylor is going to come back to the Bills and make the
take
Bills
over.
great again.
You know what?
No
So
Josh Allen?
let me throw the NFC to you. Actually,
All right.
Who do you think's going to the playoffs in the NFC?
No one from the NFC East should be in the playoffs. It's been abysmal, but the Cowboys will win the division, I think. The Eagles still sitting on the bubble. They still have a shot. I don't think it's going to happen. You know, you got the Bears sitting out there. They clinched their division.
Do you believe in Trubisky?
I mean, from everything he's shown me, yeah, but I need to see more of it.
Yeah.
I need to see more. There's not a big enough sample size for me, and everything shakes out in the playoffs.
Well, I'm asking you to project here. Because we hear sample size all the time, and I want to say, let's.
I think the Bears can win a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. That's as far as they go.
Okay.
As far as they go.
What do you think?
So I think the Bears go a little further. Like, I'll tell you right now, I think that the NFC championship will be the Bears being the 3 seed. I think in the first round they're going to end up playing Seattle and beating them at home, Chicago. So they'll beat Seattle. It's going to be a tough match, but I think their defense is by far the best in the NFL, and I think that's going to carry them a long ways. And I think Trubisky is real. I think he's going to make major mistakes in the playoffs at times, but I think the defense is good enough to carry them a little bit and help the offense out and put them in great position to have easy scores.
They would probably go to LA to play the Rams because the Saints are, even though they're 1 game in the standings ahead of the Rams, they're really 2 games because they beat the Rams.
Right.
So they're probably 90% right now. The Rams have the 2 seed. So can the Bears beat the Rams?
Well, that's what.
Can they beat the Rams in LA? What do you think?
I think the Rams' defense is good enough to make Trubisky make those mistakes. He's a young quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to believe that experience is the ultimate X factor.
Mm-hmm.
The more you're put in those positions in the playoffs, the more you have a quarterback who, I mean, let's face it, a guy like Tom Brady we referred to before has been there so many times. You can rely on him. I'm not talking about this year, but you can feel comfortable there. With Trubisky, you never know. You have to rely more on your defense, and the longer that offense of the Rams keeps that defense on the field, it puts more stress on Trubisky.
Right.
I will say Trubisky has actually surprised me this year.
Yeah,
constantly.
me too.
I do a little gambling, just a little, and I can't tell you how many teasers I put against the Bears.
Uh-huh.
And every damn time Trubisky's coming down, scoring a touchdown. Where is this coming from? So I'm not saying I believe in Trubisky.
But you're on board
I think it'll be a second round knockout.
Knockout.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think that the Bears go a little further than that. I think, like you said, the Saints, I think, are the 1 seed no matter what. I think they both go 12 and 4, I believe, or 13 and 3. Both the Saints and the Rams are going to go 13-3, but the Saints are going to be the 1 seed. So what's going to happen is I think that the Bears are going to end up playing the Rams as the 3 versus 2, and I think that the Saints will end up playing the Vikings.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings beat Dallas in Dallas, and the Vikings I think are going to be the 5 seed, not the 6. I think the Vikings actually surpass Seattle. Seattle's the 5 right now. So I think that the Vikings make it to another round. But I think it ends there. I think the Vikings, when they go to New Orleans, I think that's too much to overcome. They lose to the Saints because the Saints got the experience and everything else. Their defense is playing better. And then I think here's a surprise. The Bears beat the Rams. I think the Bears already beat the Rams at home. But even on the road, I don't think Goff had another one. Without the experience, he doesn't have the experience in the playoffs. He doesn't have the experience, overall in his career. He's a young quarterback, and we've seen him make tons of mistakes. Even against Philadelphia recently, the last game we saw, he threw a couple of huge picks in the third quarter that pretty much, blew the game for them.
He's been playing terrible.
And with that Bears defense putting pressure on him.
Yeah. Right. The pressure from that, and I think Trubisky doesn't have to do too much. I think he can just play it safe. He's got a lot of weapons to work with. Allen Robinson, this guy, Tariq Cohen, Jordan Howard, Taylor Gabriel. They have a lot of weapons. All he has to do is be smart with the ball. So I think it's Bears, Saints, in the championship, and I'm actually going to say that the Bears beat the Saints in New Orleans in a huge upset, and it's going to be one big defensive play that cost the Saints the game, a fumble or a turnover. I think they get a defensive touchdown, the Bears, and it brings them to the Super Bowl. But I think that's where it ends.
Real quick, I want both of your 4 wildcard teams because we've agreed who's going to win the division. So real quick, your 4 wildcard teams, AFC and NFC.
NFC, I told you, was the Vikings and Seahawks. In the AFC, I have the Chargers, of course, so the 5 seed, and the 6 is going to be the Titans, I think.
Titans take over the Colts and the Ravens.
Right.
What do you have?
No,
the Ravens win the division.
Steelers and Ravens, because I'm picking Pittsburgh to win the division, and I got to agree with the Seahawks and the Vikings.
All right. Consensus. I agree. I'll take the Steelers over the Ravens for the division.
Although I do think the Saints are going to beat the Bears in the championship.
Well, you don't even think maybe the Bears make it that far, and that's understandable.
But if they do, I just think again the experience factor. A guy like Drew Brees gives you a little bit of comfort there. The guy's been playing out of his mind for over a decade at this point.
Oh, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a top 3 quarterback, and we've discussed this. Yeah.
You put the ball in his hands, he's going to make things happen. But to your point, with that defense,
it's scary.
Speaking of Drew Brees, good time to transition because tonight we have Drew Brees is actually playing versus the Panthers, and I myself happen to be in a very huge fantasy football matchup where I need big points from Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara tonight.
What's the situation?
The situation is I'm down like 50 points. I need a lot of
But that's
points.
possible with Kamara and Breeze.
My question I want to throw out to you guys is, because fantasy football is such an extremely popular thing. Extremely popular. Probably over 50% of the audience of the NFL watch it for fantasy.
Right, and they'll watch every game because of it, yeah.
And with that being
Red
said,
zone.
75% of the people in the room play it. But that,
Yeah.
see, that math is probably poor, and that's why I don't play
66.6%.
fantasy.
who are your fantasy busts this year? Who cost your teams, playoffs? And who broke out? Who
For the playoffs
surprised you
especially, right?
positively and negatively? I'll kick it off with you again, Chris.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think some busts for the season were like, I know for me personally, Dalvin Cook was the guy I was on, and I was in 9 leagues this year, actually, and a lot of them I had Dalvin Cook, probably like half them. So, he was hurt most of the year, but now he's getting it done, and I think he's now become, for the teams that made it that had Dalvin Cook, a savior
Killed
for
me
the
yesterday.
playoffs. Yeah, I mean, he's been doing extremely well, especially yesterday. He went off for 136 yards or whatever it was and a couple touchdowns. Derrick Henry.
Unbelievable.
Derrick Henry, a guy who, highly touted coming out of college, a guy who, he's been in the league this is his 3rd year, I believe.
Figure that's when you start putting it together.
Right, and he didn't really have the chance because DeMarco Murray was there before for the Titans, and he, would take most of the work. Now Derrick Henry had the opportunity this year to be the lead back, and he didn't really get it done at all this year. He was getting, like 12 carries, like 25 yards.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing anything with it, no efficiency whatsoever. But all of a sudden, he broke out last week for a game where he had I believe it was 17 carries for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. He just absolutely exploded
Do you
out of
think
nowhere.
that's an outlier, or do you think that's
That's the
the
thing.
trend now?
See, and now it's the fantasy playoffs, so people need to win. There's no losing anymore. You lose, you're out. So this is very important. Anybody that has Derrick Henry in the playoffs, what do, right? So what they do this week? I hope they started him because this week, again, he had 33 carries this time, but 100.
He went crazy again.
Yeah, went crazy again, like 140 yards or something and 2 touchdowns. So I think he has the talent to make this a trend, but the problem is the whole season he was bad. And I literally mean the entire season. He had maybe 1 good game before these past 2 games. And it's just weird because that's fantasy football for you. Guys sometimes break out when you least expect it. And that's what happened there. He's like a savior right now.
See, I don't ever break out. My team this is my first year
How'd you do?
playing. I'm 2-10 right now.
Who did you draft that worked out for you and didn't work out for you? 2-10, you probably had a lot of busts, right?
I took Le'Veon Bell, and
He
obviously
destroyed a lot of
he
people,
was,
yeah.
Complete bust,
You know.
yeah. I mean, you got to call him a bust.
And the worst thing is I didn't pay attention, and I never released him. So he was just eating a roster spot.
So what happens if you don't pay attention to
I had
fantasy?
Kirk Cousins. He played well for me. Gave me a lot of points. But, the most fun for me is the draft. And
Yes.
then after that, I like watching the games. But I understand why people enjoy fantasy so much because it connects other players for Tuesday through Saturday.
Right.
There's more to the game. It extends the game past the actual game. So I get why people do it. It's just I failed high school math. This and the top level fantasy guys, like a guy like
They're
you,
algorithm guys, yeah.
they're out of their minds. They know exactly what they're doing. They have their strategies. They have all this stuff. I'm sitting here with a pen and a paper. Is Sterling Sharp still playing?
Well, I'm going to move on real quick from that topic. Good luck to everybody in the fantasy football
not
playoffs.
me though.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Except for you,
I'm
because
done.
you're out.
No, you're done. That's
Oh
it.
yeah, that's it.
The holidays
Yeah.
are coming up, and
Yeah.
we have quite a lot of special holiday sports. We have the NBA special games when you're with your family. If the conversation's a little boring, you can sneak to the TV and watch some NBA games.
Or, yeah. College
We
football.
have college football, the 2 playoff games on the 29th.
And about a zillion bowl games.
Yeah.
And we have the hockey winter classic.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I want to ask you guys, and Steve, I'm going to send this to, may I call you Steve?
Oh yeah.
Steve, instead of Steven. PH or V?
Oh, V.
Okay.
PH it's a blood feud.
Yeah.
Which sport do you think does the holidays the best? We could throw in Thanksgiving as well. It's a recent holiday.
I mean, you would think that for most people, football is where everyone gathers around. You got Thanksgiving, you've got, all of that, the playoffs coming around the holidays. But for me, I'm a hockey guy. The Winter Classic, 100%. New Year's Day, I am there. This year it'll be in Notre Dame. It's the Bruins. They're
Blackhawks.
and the Blackhawks. They're playing. It's exciting.
And for a lot of our audience, may not be familiar with it. What makes the Winter Classic unique to hockey? And
it's outdoor. I mean, it's kind of been diluted a little bit, I think, because now there's the Stadium Series and the Heritage Classic where they do more outdoor games. But the pageantry that you have, hockey is meant to be played outdoors. When you're growing up as a kid, either in the Northeast or in Canada or, in Russia and Sweden, you play outside, you play on the pond. That's how kids discover the game. It's like playing soccer in a dirt field,
Or basketball in a court, just a random court.
That's the way the game is meant to be played. So seeing it being played outside, I know a lot of people have issues with the way that once the sun starts going down, the angles in the corner, it makes it difficult for some players to play and to see. But for me, it's beautiful. It's the way hockey is intended, and the pageantry that they have. It's like their Super Bowl, because the Stanley Cup, it's 7 games. It's a series. But there's not that one game. Like the Super Bowl has that one thing.
Fair.
This is their version of that.
Chris, actually, I want to change the question a little for you. I want to ask you, do you have any holiday games that are memorable to you or that stuck out to you?
One game
in any sport, yeah.
Yeah, I'm more of a, and if like hockey is your thing, like I don't really watch hockey at all, really. So nothing like that sticks out to me. College football, actually, there is a game that sticks out to me. One of the greatest games I've ever seen, maybe the greatest game in any sport that I've ever seen, was a game back in the day. I believe it was 1999.
Back in the day.
Yeah, it was. It was January 1st, New Year's Day. So that's a holiday game, and I think it was the Miami Hurricanes versus I forgot. I think it was Florida State or something like that. Or maybe Ohio State. It was Willis McGahee was on the team at the time. That's when he broke his leg and tore his ACL, and his draft stock went down because he was going to the NFL next year. That game went to triple overtime, and I believe Ohio State won it at the end. Maybe I don't remember exactly, but I know it was a crazy game. I can just remember the plays.
Which is the
triple
theme,
overtime.
You guys were talking about that last week. Just who does the overtime best and all that stuff.
Those stick out in your mind, though, especially like a national championship game where you got Miami when the U was the U in the day, and they were like, every NFL player was coming out of the U. And then you had Ohio State, who was just a classic team that always has great players, and you play in this huge game, and it goes to triple overtime. It's something that I'll never forget. There's some Thanksgiving games, too, like when RG3, his rookie year, had a huge game against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and he actually won the game. They were up 28-3. Cowboys almost came back, and RG3 got it done.
That was the big RG3.
That was like RG3's moment,
It was his coming out party.
Who would have known after that he'd become irrelevant not too soon after, but that's something that sticks out in your mind because, that he was a great player for that season. He was like an MVP almost. Like it was something we haven't seen since Michael Vick, the type of quarterback that he played as for that season.
And it cost him. It cost him that way of playing the game.
It did cost him.
So, enjoy your holiday sports. I just want to throw in the Kobe and Shaq Christmas.
Yeah.
It was a classic, the first 2004 after they...
There's a lot of NBA good ones here.
I like the NBA, how they started doing the Christmas jerseys and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Very
Adding
festive.
something different, something special for fans.
Yeah.
It's good, like the Winter Classic jerseys.
NBA does it really well.
Yeah,
NBA
classic.
commissioner, I think, is the best commissioner in sports.
Adam Silver.
He's really good at what he does. He's hip to the times. They have the first esports league,
which
NBA,
is huge. Which is huge. Yeah.
And they're going to be way ahead of everybody else when it comes to this stuff because this stuff is going to be big. Esports is going to be tremendous, especially with these sports games. So,
speaking of, the video game that we have planned for you all today is
NHL, the classic.
Based on the theme of Winter Classic and the holidays. These gentlemen here, Stephen, James, why don't you pick up a controller, and Chris Ventura, the closer, why don't you pick up a
Bruins.
Are you okay with that?
Inside, my inner Rangers fan is dying.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Steven, why don't you give us a brief analysis of
this game
of who's playing and the teams here as our hockey expert here.
Both of these franchises have been just so historic. You want to talk about guys like Stan Mitka, guys like Bobby Orr, guys like, just everything that you've seen, all of those classic hockey highlights, especially in the 60s and 70s, happened in Boston, happened in Chicago. Yeah. So these are two teams, and in recent history, both Boston and Chicago, both winning Stanley Cups after years of just miring in the muck.
Why are these guys like real humans?
Yeah, full motion video we got here.
Trying to take my job. Well, I'd love to take Mike Emmerich's job. I'm coming for you, Mike.
Who's Mike Emmert?
The Doc.
We don't know
He's
anything.
the Doc. You want to talk about one of the greatest play-by-play guys of all time.
Yeah.
Who did he call games for?
He called for the Devils for years. Now NBC. So all the nationally televised games, really, it's him. But yeah, calling hockey, we were talking about this before the show, is one of the toughest things to do.
Yeah, play-by-play especially.
Why do you think
action.
that's harder than... Okay,
Because you got especially
See, I would
radio.
think baseball's the hardest because you got to fill in all those...
Yeah, but you usually have your second guy to fill in dead air, right? I just think it's harder for the play-by-play guy in particular in hockey because things are happening so fast, especially the radio play-by-play guy, because he's got to paint a picture for you. Because when you're watching it on TV, you see what's going on. He doesn't have to do that. Whereas the radio announcer has to do a lot more.
Plus, they tell you, I do play-by-play for professional wrestling, and I've done it for
hockey.
college hockey as well. They tell you to call what's on the monitor. So you have to also keep peripheral vision of everything that you're seeing around you as well. So whatever's not on the monitor, going on away, the scrum, you got producers
These are
in your
20-minute
ear.
periods.
No, they're not.
It's
Oh,
accelerated.
Oh, it goes it's super... okay. I was going to say...
I'm not sure of the buttons, but here we go.
Are you going upper 90?
I'm going up at 90,
up at 90.
baby. You saw that last
folks,
week?
I
be ready
did.
to
It was
watch
great.
a 1-hour hockey game right now.
I gotta look how to switch these guys. That'd be good.
All right, so here we go. We're gonna try some things. We're gonna try some things here.
My
Nice
greatest
pass.
2 hockey video games of all time are Wayne Gretzky 98 for
N64?
for 64. You guys remember that?
Great
one?
game, yeah.
And then NHL hits for PS2.
They've done something recent in the new hockey games where they've added that hits, that blitz, that NBA Jam style.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
They call it threes now. I think they call it. It's just 3-on-3, kind of like the overtime how they do in the real sport.
You know what? That's not a bad idea for hockey. You know how NBA has done the Big Three, which is like older players or recently retired players playing in a league, and the Big Three actually did okay.
I think it was
for
a
its
great
first
idea,
year.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad idea for hockey.
Oh, look at
be
you.
honest
You
with
can't
you.
do that. You're going to the sin bin.
Oh no!
This is a penalty.
And we have our
not sure
first
what I'm
penalty of the
doing.
game, folks. The Boston Bruins
I'm not sure
going
what I'm doing.
into the
it's-
penalty box for a power
Oh,
play.
I hacked him in the foot.
Zdeno Chara, one of the legendary defensemen.
Chara, I was gonna say before, he's one of the best, and he hits missiles, absolute rockets, right?
He won the
And he's a huge
hardest.
monster.
He won the hardest shot competition. That's another thing about hockey that they do really well is during All-Star Week. I really wish they would do something like that during the Winter Classic. Is to add another skills competition sort of thing. Make it more of a weekend, I guess, is what I'm.
Check that boy.
I would like if the Hockey All-Star Weekend
pass
would
that.
be able
How do
to
you pass
advertise a little more and bring in a general fan, a casual fan,
R2?
rather than all the
I'm
diehards.
shooting. R2 is the pass.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do more. I mean, you got to do more to bring in casual
Oh, no.
fans.
I think
Step
the
up, step
NBA
up.
does a great job with that. The NFL does a great job with that.
My thing with the NBA and with soccer, or football, for those of you who make that distinction, they'll always have worldwide popularity is because you don't need to spend a lot of money to get in. All you need is a ball and your feet.
Yeah.
What, for NBA?
Oh, you switched on the goalie by accident.
How do I switch?
I don't know, you switched on the goalie somehow.
And Marchand with the goal.
Marchand, is that the name?
Marchand?
Marchand.
You gotta remember, it's all
Brand
French.
Marchand, yeah, Marchand.
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 French Canadian, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I left
Yeah,
the goalie
yeah.
to the right. I pulled him out. I gotta figure out the buttons here. I should have practiced maybe beforehand slightly.
Well, everyone does it. At some point, they switch on the goalie by accident, move out.
Yeah.
Oh, stick lift. What are you talking
Oh, I got
And a
smoked.
major check by the Bruins.
Oh.
And
No,
here
no, no.
comes
No.
the
He's going
Blackhawks
top-
on a break, and way misfires to the
almost.
left. And a
Almost
save.
went upper 90 on him.
I had to go up at 90 there. That was,
Oh,
that was
Chara.
a mistake.
Let's get
And
that
here goes
boomstick.
Marchand again. Marchand.
Let's get that boomstick.
And the one-timer,
Yeah,
he misses.
I blew it.
He misses the
Oh,
pass.
they're changing.
He looked
As I
like...
throw the pass.
I don't know who
Oh
misses
yeah, it
passes.
should be line changing.
He looked like Eli Manning on that
It
one.
is on auto
Take
line.
up. That's one thing. I mean, I'm a hockey guy, but and I love realism in my video games, but that's a little much.
Nice shot. Up at 90.
The one thing that I was always taught when I was playing: skate one way, shoot the other.
Did you play growing up with like those big
Oh,
garbage cans in the
cream.
parks and stuff? or no?
Yeah,
As
and
the
then we
goals?
wound up buying nets
No.
and stuff, or we would build our own nets. We actually had a 3-on-3 hockey league that we had started with all the blocks. Each block for 10 blocks had their own team, and so we would have playoffs. We had a season. It was really organized for a bunch of kids.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and because most of us we grew up pretty poor, so we didn't play little league or anything like that. The first time I
Where'd
ever
you grow
played,
up?
I grew up in Bensonhurst.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Because I know you
Like
lived
me.
in Seattle.
Yeah, I've been all over the place. Seattle, when they get a hockey team, it's gonna be great. They're gonna be very
Who am I
happy.
passing to?
Me, it looked like. Come on, get out of here. Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
I'm sticking, yeah.
You hurt me.
Another power play for
Now
the
my
Chicago
feelings are hurt
Blackhawks.
too. On top of that, because I thought we discussed this. I said you can't do that, and then right in the
Boom, right in the face.
Until
Now-
I know the rest of these guys' names, I'm going to call everyone Marchand.
Marion Hossa.
So everybody's Marchand in the penalty box.
If
Marchand
you would-
facing Marchand in the face-off.
Had you drawn blood, it would have been a 4-minute penalty instead of a 2-minute penalty.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that a new rule, or is that
That's
in
been
this
around
game?
for a while.
Okay. Come on, boys. We need to get up on here. Oh,
And a one-timer, Marchand to
how that
Marchand. He
wasn't a
missed.
goal is beyond me.
Corey Crawford is one hell of a
Corey
goaltender.
Crawford. All right, I throw in a second name now.
There you go. Oh, we were
Which team is
talking about
Crawford on?
on the closers team.
Okay.
There we go. Oh, nice hit.
And a major
Jeez.
check by Crawford
Did I
on
get it?
Marchand.
Yeah, you did.
Who am I passing to? Oh.
Oh, come on! You got to be kidding me.
Oh.
And an open shot, and he misfires.
No, I
And
actually
that
hit
was
that
his
good.
chance.
I hit that
Excuse me,
good.
a fantastic save by
I was too
Brodeur. I'm
close.
not sure who it
I think
was.
I was too close. That was
The
bad.
crazy thing is, I'm on the power play, so I have a man advantage, and it
that's
doesn't
true.
matter because he's just finding a way. Like,
The only thing I could do is pass. I feel like that's.
and you got to be careful with it. The X button, I got to put it in PlayStation terms. The X button is to stick lift, so you tap the stick up, so you try and lift my stick to grab the puck.
Ladies and
Really,
gentlemen, that's the
really
first period.
annoying to play against if someone's
Well,
in real
tell-
life. If someone's really good
Yeah.
and they know how to
Manipulate
use
that.
your body.
So,
Yeah.
so okay. R2 is pass.
R2's pass.
Flick the stick is shoot.
Down and up is
Slap
down
shot.
to hold it back.
Yeah.
But if you want to keep the puck away from you, you hold down to kind of because it's total stick control.
Oh, it's
so you
all
have
stick
total control. of
What
stick.
about on defense? How do I switch players? I need to know, and how do I
switch players? Same
Check.
as pass.
Oh, it's also
Same
pass.
button is pass.
And
Check.
then the stick
Check. You just go into them.
with the left stick.
And
Okay.
right
See,
stick.
folks, Chris is playing
To
the win
steal,
right now. The
steal with the stick
Steals
is
with.
X.
Oh, you want a poke check? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like a quick little
Hold on,
steal
give me a
just
sec.
of the puck.
Poke
Yeah.
check would be. Well, let me give you the puck. Take that puck.
Really?
Take-
Okay.
Oh, he's such a...
Poke
I'll
check
let him take it
is
back.
R1. No, go for it. I'll take it anyway.
Oh, I gotta go this way anyway. All right.
Oh yeah, we switched. And offsides.
Oh, offsides.
Yeah.
All right, so that worked out.
Which there've been in recent years a lot of rule changes. They eliminated the 2-line pass. They tried to open up the game. They added, they made it, no longer. The overtime rules changed, so you have 3-on-3 now.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that, the 3-on-3 rule.
I saw it
Do you
in
not
an
like it?
exhibition game when they were testing it out. They were testing it out in exhibition before they implemented it the next season. And at first it was weird because, guys, when you're used to playing a game, I knew that was offsides, damn it. When you're used to playing a game for so long at a certain way, and you're used to coaching it a certain way, it takes a while for them to get used to these new things. You got to figure if they started changing things and it
nice
wasn't
check.
at the Pop Warner level. Like some of those changes that kids are now having to learn for football, they'll know when they get here. Like they won't know that, kicking a field goal is different. They won't know that you can't run on the kickoff. You can't gain a head of steam now.
Right.
All of those things have changed.
Right. Well, every sport tends to change a lot except for baseball. Really.
It's true.
Baseball stays unchanged.
It's traditional.
America's pastime.
Oh,
That's why they're hemorrhaging fans. But
Yeah.
And some are going, oh, nice hit check. Oh, steal that back.
No, get him, Bourbon. Oh, I dove with the goalie again.
I think you
goes my chances.
held it. So
Yeah, I did.
yeah, if you hold the switch button, maybe it turns on the goalie.
Right, once you shoot. I think
Yeah.
that's what happened. I dove too. I don't know how I did that, but Fair enough.
Here we go.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a
deficit.
2-0 game. The Bruins in this Winter
I'll
Classic
be happy
indoors.
with a goal. I'll be happy with a
Wait,
goal.
this hurts me. The fact that I'm winning with the Bruins, by the way. As long as it's not the Devils.
Hey, nobody forced you to be the Bruins, did they?
Oh, what a steal.
I guess they did.
Again.
Another one-timer.
What a spot. You see that
Toe.
spat? That was beautiful. One-timer.
Unbelievable.
That was well played. He had a great steal on me to
Ryan
start
And
that.
Ryan Spooner scored.
Hockey's got some of the best
Blackhawks
names.
crushed. They do have great names. My favorite was always Patrick Waugh, spelled Roy.
Spelled Roy. Yeah.
Very fun.
My close friend and someone who's worked with Bridgeside before, Mr. Danny Axel. I don't know if you know him very well, but that was his favorite player growing up was Patrick Waugh.
Yeah.
So I learned that pretty early. You know, you learn how to say French names like Maurice the Rocket Richard. You know. Oh, come on. Oh, almost. See, hockey's a game of momentum.
And then I throw it out there. That might be.
All right. Let's get a little.
And the fast break. Another one-timer from a distance.
Whoa.
That was a two-timer.
Two-time.
That was set up
And,
so beautifully that
Chris just stopped what he was doing
I was just
and
like-
watched the beauty.
See the chicken? Yeah.
And this is
Black Hawk.
quickly become a blowout.
Yeah.
Does the closer have anything left in him?
I'll take a goal. That's about it. I'll be happy. Still got a whole
First, he
period.
needs some puck control before he can think about scoring.
I had a couple of breakaways, but that was about it.
He had a couple of good shots.
Yeah, and that last.
Hit him in the face with it. So you never played hockey as a kid at all?
I did in Staten Island for a little bit.
Okay.
Because for some reason they would play hockey like a lot in Staten Island when I was younger. Like a lot of kids played hockey.
Nothing else
in the
better to
street.
do that.
Again.
Our producer just said it's a 5-goal mercy.
And there it is.
Paul, are you
Let me
serious
play-
about
Let me at
that?
least try to get a goal, man. I mean,
All right,
come on.
I'll slow the game down. He said play the period out. Play the period out.
I mean, I never played this game before,
Yeah.
so it's very hard for me to.
And I'm an OG at this. I've been
You're
playing
old
this
school?
since '93.
Will you let the kid get the puck? Stop bullying. Bullying's a big thing in America
Well,
now. I'm just kidding.
He hit me.
You hit me.
He hate me.
He hate me. Oh, the XFL's coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
As a guy who works in professional wrestling,
Which wrestling did you call? Which
Capital
leagues?
Wrestling. Our next event is on the 29th of December in Hoboken, New Jersey. We run about every 6 weeks. We've got about 1 million views on Twitch, which is one of our main platforms.
Here's his chance. I'm listening.
It's a lot of fun, and it's different than calling any other sort of.
In front of him.
Nope. I'm gonna wait because you're on the goalie.
That's
I'll let
all right.
you switch off.
I'm trying to switch off.
You're gonna get a penalty. I'll let the time go down. I didn't
Yeah,
want you.
I think we're gonna call this one.
We're gonna call it?
We're calling
Yeah,
it?
the 5-goal
That's
mercy.
not fair.
I mean,
I could have came back.
you got close.
Well, do you have any advice for Chris if he plays
Learn the
again?
buttons, maybe?
That does
That
help.
might be
That
number
does
one.
help.
And then after that,
I liked your physical play. I mean, sure you got
Very
to the
physical.
box,
Couple
but you hit me a
penalties.
couple of times and
couple big penalties.
Put me on my 5th point of contact, as they say.
So while we finish, why don't you take us out?
Yeah. Well,
While I play
thank you,
against the
folks.
computer.
That is our show for the evening. So I hope you now know who will make the NFL playoffs, and I hope your fantasy football team
I never
is
gave my
fantastic.
AFC Super Bowl team.
Quick.
Just saying.
What's
Texans over Bears is my
Texans
Super Bowl.
over Bears.
Texans over Bears.
You heard it here
Texans over
first.
Bears. You heard it here.
Thank you again for joining us on another edition of Brooklyn Verse, and we thank you for watching another edition of Brooklyn Verse. There's a lot going on around me. This video game is still going on, and please, if you haven't already, subscribe. The content will be worth it,
Oh.
and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Oh, and he's still out there. I passed it to himself. How do you speed burst and stuff?
It's auto.
Oh,
it's
it's
like momentum style. So if I pull back.